One woman decided to find out what it's like to live as an ordinary man. She gave herself a short male haircut, learned to speak in a low voice, took the name Ned, and entered the male world for a year and a half. After this experiment, she began a severe, untreatable depression that lasted for years. It didn't kill her right away, but it became a turning point. And finally, in 2022 in Switzerland, she ended her life through euthanasia because she could no longer live with what she carried inside. Her name was Nora Vincent, an American journalist and writer. She was 53 years old. She began her experiment in the winter of 2003. At that time, she was 35 years old. She lived as a man for a year and a half. She wrote a book about her experience called Self-Made Man. She wrote it in 2006, but few know that during the experiment, she had a nervous breakdown right while working on the book. She was admitted to a psychiatric clinic and later wrote another book, Voluntary Madness, about how the psychiatric system breaks people even more. But that's another topic. Nora wasn't transgender, she was a lesbian. She wasn't interested in becoming a man, but in knowing how men feel, what it's like to live in a role where you're not pitied, praised, or supported. And here is exactly what she saw in a man's life. 5 facts that broke her. Fact number 1, dating is hell. As a woman, Nora was used to being approached for dates. Yes, it could be unpleasant or scary, but overall, she was the one choosing. As a man, Ned, everything was turned upside down. He had to do the approaching himself. Risking rejection every time, risking humiliation every single time. She was shocked by how cold women could be to men they weren't interested in. Not just a no thank you, but with contempt and ridicule. She put it this way: being a man means you're always guilty until proven otherwise, boring until you prove your worth. No slack. You're constantly under scrutiny. Fact number 2, the emotional corset. As a woman, Nora could cry and be pitied. She could complain and be listened to. As a man, she couldn't do any of that. As soon as she showed pain, fear, or exhaustion, people became uncomfortable. They would tell her, "Man up." The worst reaction came from women, those who say they want a sensitive guy. When such a guy actually appeared, they lost interest and began to look at him differently. Nora said, "A man is valued not for who he is, but for what he does, how much he can give, and how much he is able to endure." Conditional love. As long as you're strong, you're needed. If you break, no one cares. Fact number 3, invisibility. As a woman, she received compliments, smiles, and attention just for existing. As a man, she became like furniture. No one looked, no one smiled. Not a single compliment in a year and a half. A total lack of validation that you even exist. And on top of that, a constant feeling of being seen as a threat. She'd walk down the street and women would cross over. She'd enter an elevator and they'd clutch their purses, or just stand at a bus stop and be eyed with suspicion. Nora said, "You haven't done anything yet, but you're already guilty just because you're a man." It's mind-blowing. Fact number 4, the male hierarchy. It is real. Nora thought it was an exaggeration, but when she entered male circles, she realized it's a brutal jungle. Men are constantly testing each other, who's more confident, who's tougher, whose boundaries are stronger. If you don't fight back, you're eaten alive. They start bullying you, mocking you, disrespecting you. She saw that most men don't want to be tough, but if you aren't tough, you don't survive. They put on this mask in childhood and never take it off. Fact number 5, silent loneliness. This is what ultimately broke her. Nora noticed that men suffer in silence. They don't talk about their pain. And not because they don't want to, but because deep down they believe no one cares. They shut down, interacting only through activities like work, repairs, or sports. They might drink together or watch football, but when it comes to real emotional support, most simply don't have it. Nora called this emotional starvation. Everything seems fine. You're fed, you have a roof, a job, friends, but inside there's an emptiness because no one ever sincerely asks, "How are you really doing?" She said, "I only lived as a man for a year and a half. I felt everything inside drying up, and they live like that for decades." Nora Vincent lived for another 16 years after the experiment. It was the experiment that triggered a depression that never went away. Nora tried to get treatment, but nothing helped. Rest in peace, Nora.